I am Homo sapiens. The Cretaceous period was the most thrilling time on Earth. It was during this era that the largest carnivores and massive herbivores in the entire history of life roamed the planet. And all of them were reptiles. Their sounds would send shivers through the atmosphere, and the tremors from their footsteps made the ground shake. Imagining their battles is difficult, although films and documentaries have tried to depict them. But thinking about how it truly was in reality is indeed fascinating. At that time, our ancestors, the mammals, were physically much weaker and smaller compared to them, but perhaps they were more intelligent, cunning, and had better senses. Even today, in many cases, mammals are considered more intelligent and perceptive than reptiles. Evidence has been found that mammals fed on dead dinosaurs, and it's certain that these mammals also secretly consumed reptile eggs, and perhaps even their small offspring. Both reptiles and mammals preyed on each other during this period. Among the flying dinosaurs and reptiles, some were so large that we could lose our lives instantly with a single strike from their claws or beak. The Cretaceous period was truly a time of the most terrifying and gigantic creatures on Earth. Today's animals are nothing in size compared to them. Birds and their ancestors also evolved further during this period. The Cretaceous period began around 145 million years ago and ended 66 million years ago. It followed the Jurassic period and was the final phase of the Mesozoic era, with dinosaurs becoming extinct at the end of this era. The name Cretaceous is derived from the Latin word creta, meaning chalk. During this time, there was a significant accumulation of limestone in the oceans. These remains are mostly found in Europe. For this reason, the period was named Cretaceous, symbolizing the abundance of chalk. During the Cretaceous period, the massive supercontinent Pangaea broke apart into smaller continents. North and South America began to separate, and the Atlantic Ocean started expanding. This plate movement led to the formation of mountain ranges and a rise in sea levels. There was a division between Greenland and Eurasia, and India, which was an independent island at the time, started drifting towards Asia. The climate during the Cretaceous period was warm and humid, especially during the mid-Cretaceous. Due to the high temperatures, there were no permanent ice sheets even in the polar regions. Gymnosperms were the dominant plant group at the beginning of the Cretaceous period. However, the most significant development of this period was the rise of angiosperms, or flowering plants. Around 140 million years ago, flowering plants first evolved, dramatically changing Earth's ecosystems and life forms. These plants evolved rapidly compared to other plants and spread across various ecosystems. Interestingly, flowering plants initially developed near aquatic sources and along the edges of swamps. You might recall that plants first evolved on Earth along the edges of seas or water sources, starting with moss-like plants from the Bryophyta group, which laid the foundation for plant life and soil formation. Similarly, scientific research suggests that the evolution of flowering plants, or angiosperms, also first occurred in areas with high moisture near water sources. The evolution of angiosperms happened from gymnosperms like cycads and pine plants. Flowering plants co-evolved with insects, making the pollination process more efficient. Pollination by insects allowed angiosperms to thrive rapidly. Among the marine reptiles of the Cretaceous period, the most famous creature is the Mosasaurus. This giant marine reptile was about 15 meters long and is considered the most fearsome predator of the seas at the end of the Cretaceous period. Its jaws were filled with hundreds of sharp teeth, making it an effective predator of fish, sharks, and other marine creatures. A shark called Cretoxyrhina, also known as the Guinsoo shark, was about 7 meters long and is considered one of the largest and most terrifying sharks of the Cretaceous period. Its sharp teeth made it a top predator of marine reptiles, fish, and other sea creatures. Enceladus was another large fish from this period, known for its long, sharp teeth. It was also called the saber-toothed herring. This fish was a fast swimmer and preyed on other fish and smaller marine creatures. In addition to these, creatures like Ichthyosaurus, Plesiosaurus, ammonites, and belemnites were also found in large numbers, as discussed in the previous video. The Cretaceous period was the final and most significant time for the evolution of dinosaurs. During this period, dinosaurs diversified widely and established their dominance in every type of ecosystem on Earth. The most famous and popular theropod carnivorous dinosaur of this era was the Tyrannosaurus rex. It was the most terrifying predator of its time. With a massive body about 40 feet long and 12 feet tall, powerful jaws, and sharp teeth, it was the most formidable predator of its era. It hunted large herbivorous dinosaurs and was considered a top predator of the period. Spinosaurus was one of the largest theropods in the world and could comfortably live both on land and in water. Recent research has proven that it was semi-aquatic, so it is no longer classified solely as a terrestrial predator. It could grow up to 50 feet long and had a unique sail, or fin-like structure on its back. Its long skull and sharp teeth made it an adept predator on both land and in water. Velociraptors were cunning and swift predators, about 6 feet long. Their speed, strong claws, and ability to hunt in packs made them extremely dangerous. Velociraptors had relatively larger brains, making them more intelligent compared to other dinosaurs. Some species of this genus were also smaller in size. Sauropods were the largest group of herbivorous dinosaurs, known for their long necks, long tails, and massive bodies. During the Cretaceous period, sauropods dominated vast grasslands and forests. One of the largest sauropods, Alamosaurus, was found in North America and could exceed 70 feet in length. Its long neck and tail helped it reach high tree leaves and defend itself from predators. The largest known dinosaur, Argenitosaurus, could grow up to 100 feet long and weigh more than 100 tons. It was found in South America, and its immense size made it nearly impossible for predators to hunt it. Iguanodon was a large herbivorous dinosaur that could grow up to 30 feet long. Its most distinctive feature was the thumb spike on its fingers, which it used to defend itself from predators or to break apart plants. Parasaurolophus was a hadrosaur dinosaur, distinguished by its long, curved crest on its head. This crest was likely used to produce sound or for communication. Triceratops was one of the most famous ceratopsian dinosaurs, known for its 3 large horns on its skull and a massive bony frill. This herbivorous dinosaur was about 30 feet long and weighed between 6 to 12 tons. Triceratops used its horns for defense against predators and in competition with other members of its species. Pentaceratops was similar to Triceratops but had 5 horns, making it appear even more formidable. It lived in North America toward the end of the Cretaceous period. Ankylosaurus was a large herbivorous dinosaur, about 20 to 25 feet long. Its body was covered in a solid armor, and it had a strong club at the end of its tail, which it used to defend itself from predators. Its main predator was the Tyrannosaurus rex. Pachycephalosaurus was famous for its thick, dome-shaped skull, which was likely used for headbutting during competition or social interactions. It could grow up to 15 feet long and primarily fed on small plants and shrubs. Dinobellator was a small, fast, and agile dinosaur. It was a theropod dinosaur closely related to the ancestors of birds, about 2 meters long, and a carnivore that hunted with its sharp claws and teeth. Like other raptors, it could run at high speeds and preyed on small animals. Concavenator had a unique hump or sail-like structure on its back, which may have been used to regulate temperature. It was a carnivorous dinosaur with small bumps on its forearms, possibly indicating early feather development, which may have later been linked to bird evolution. Therizinosaurus had extremely long claws that could grow up to 1 meter, but despite its fearsome appearance, it was a herbivore. Its claws were likely used for defense or pulling down branches. It had a beak, which made it distinct from other dinosaurs. Pelecanimmus was one of the early and primitive ostrich dinosaurs, and it had more than 200 teeth, which was unusual for this group. Unlike many of its toothless relatives, Pelecanimmus had a pouch in its beak like a pelican, which may have been used for catching small prey or fish. Bipiosaurus was a therizinosaur that had primitive feathers, representing an early stage in feathered dinosaur evolution. Its feathers were more like hair-like filaments, resembling the feathers of modern birds. Deinocheirus was initially known only for its massive hands and claws, leading to much speculation about its appearance. Later discoveries revealed its bizarre form, which included a hump, a duck-like beak, and a herbivorous diet. Despite its terrifying claws, it was a gentle giant dinosaur that likely fed on plants and small animals in marshy environments. Xenoceratops was smaller than its famous relatives like Triceratops, but it was considered an important link between early ceratopsians and their larger descendants. It had large brow horns and frills, but was much smaller, roughly the size of a horse, compared to its massive relatives. Baryonyx was known for its long, crocodile-like snout and large claws, and was a fish-eating dinosaur. Fossil evidence of fish remains in its stomach provided direct proof of its diet, and its long claws were likely used to catch slippery fish. Nodosaurus was an ankylosaur, but unlike its later relatives, it did not have a clubbed tail. However, it was still well protected with heavy armor and bony spikes on its body, making it a tough challenge for predators. Psittacosaurus was named after its parrot-like beak and was an early ceratopsian. It is one of the most commonly found dinosaurs, and its beak was used to crack tough seeds or fruits. Some specimens have shown evidence of feather-like structures on its tail, possibly indicating a link to bird evolution. As we saw in the previous video, the ancestors of birds evolved from theropod dinosaurs, which were bipedal, carnivorous dinosaurs. The evolution of birds began in the early Jurassic period, but they became more diverse during the Cretaceous period. Archaeopteryx is a crucial link in the evolution of birds, found at the end of the Jurassic period, though its descendants survived into the Cretaceous. Archaeopteryx had characteristics of both dinosaurs and birds, such as feathers and a feathered body, but its teeth and claws connected it to dinosaurs. It was a small, flying creature capable of short-distance flight and gliding. Enantiornithines were a large and diverse group of birds widespread during the Cretaceous period. These birds varied in size and form, with some being tree-dwellers and others preying on fish. Their bones were light, and their wings were well-developed, making them skilled flyers. Hesperornis was an aquatic bird from the Cretaceous period. It had small wings and could not fly, but its legs and body were adapted for swimming. Hesperornis hunted fish. Ichthyornis was a seabird that resembled modern gulls. It could fly and primarily hunted fish. Its jaws had teeth, linking it to ancient birds, but its wings and body were more developed, like modern birds. Among flying reptiles, the most notable were pterosaurs, which lived from the Triassic to the end of the Cretaceous period. They were not ancestors of birds or dinosaurs, but evolved around the same time. Pteranodon was the most famous pterosaur, with a wingspan of up to 20 feet. It had a long beak and a distinctive crest behind its head. It mainly hunted fish and lived near coastlines. Its light wings enabled it to fly long distances. Quetzalcoatlus was the largest known flying reptile, with a wingspan of 33 to 36 feet. This massive pterosaur behaved more like a terrestrial predator, but had the ability to fly, making it a unique hunter. It was named after the Mesoamerican god Quetzalcoatl. Tapejara was a smaller pterosaur with a wingspan of about 15 feet. It had a large, colorful crest on its head, likely used to attract mates. This flying reptile lived in tropical regions and possibly fed on fruits and insects. Microraptor was a small theropod dinosaur characterized by having 4 wings, 2 on its forelimbs and 2 on its hind limbs. It was likely capable of gliding and hunted from small trees. Its body was light and covered with feathers, aiding in flight. Caudipteryx was another small theropod, partially covered with feathers. This dinosaur was very light and fast, but it was not fully capable of flight. Its feathers may have been used for display or attracting mates. Anchiornis was yet another small theropod dinosaur known for its feathers and colorful body. It may have been capable of short-distance flight or gliding, chasing after small prey. Its vibrant feathers likely helped in attracting mates. The Cretaceous period is primarily known for its gigantic dinosaurs, but during this time, mammals were also slowly evolving. Like in the Jurassic, mammals in the Cretaceous period were small, nocturnal, and mostly insectivorous. Though they were vulnerable to the reptilian predators of the time, their gradual evolution played a crucial role in the significant changes that would come later. We know that the evolution of mammals began even before dinosaurs, during the Permian period, but until the Cretaceous, their development was slow, and they remained small. After the mass extinction event at the end of the Cretaceous, which wiped out non-avian dinosaurs, mammals rose to dominance across the Earth, while reptiles fell behind in this evolutionary race. Repenomanus was one of the largest known mammals from the Cretaceous period, about the size of a small dog, and it was carnivorous. Fossil evidence shows that it even hunted small dinosaurs, indicating that some mammals, despite living under the dominance of dinosaurs, could actively hunt and had a role in the food chain. Didelphodon was a marsupial mammal weighing around 5 kilograms. It was also an efficient predator, hunting small animals and insects. Its strong jaws and teeth made it an effective predator of its time. Zalandalestes was a small insectivorous mammal found in the Gobi Desert of Mongolia. The Cretaceous, Paleogene extinction event, also known as the KPG extinction, occurred around 66 million years ago, causing the extinction of about 75% of Earth's species, including the dinosaurs. The cause of this extinction event was a roughly 10 to 15 kilometer wide asteroid, known as the Chicxulub impactor, which struck the Yucatan Peninsula in present-day Mexico, at a location now called Chicxulub. When this asteroid hit Earth, it released energy equivalent to millions of nuclear bombs, causing massive tsunamis in the oceans. The impact ejected so much dust and ash into the atmosphere that sunlight was blocked for months, creating a nuclear winter-like situation. This drastically lowered Earth's temperature, and many organisms, unable to regulate their body heat, perished in the cold. With sunlight blocked for months, plants could no longer perform photosynthesis, leading to the collapse of the food chain. The shortage of plants affected herbivorous animals, and their decline in turn led to the extinction of carnivorous species. Only certain groups of birds, which are a branch of theropod dinosaurs, survived and evolved into modern birds. Small mammals also found new ecological niches to expand into, beginning a new era dominated by mammals on Earth. This event serves as a reminder of nature's power and the importance of balance, highlighting the fragility of life on Earth and the complexity of evolutionary processes.